Hello again, everyone. This is American Idioms Part 57. This is the 57th video in my idiom series, and like the others, I'll present 5 idioms to you numbered 281 to 285. But first, I'll give you the chance to guess their meanings. Then I'll give you the answers along with an additional example for each new idiom. I also recommend that you pause the video at each question to give yourself some extra time to think of the answers. So, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 281, a toss-up. And the example is, we're not sure where our family will go this summer for our vacation. It's a toss-up between Paris and London. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is B, a choice between two options that are equal. And that's what it means if something is a toss-up. In the example, they're talking about how they're trying to select a place to go for vacation. And both places here, Paris or London, it's a toss-up between those two. So these two are equal. Probably they like both these places, but they're trying to decide which one. So it's what we call a toss-up. So think about a coin toss at a beginning of a game where two equal teams get a chance, right? So what do? They flip a coin. So it's similar to that. So a toss-up is your choice between the two options. Here's another example. Should I buy a good used car or a new one? Right now, it's a toss-up between a cheaper one that's still reliable and a new one that is great, but it will put me in debt for a long time. All right, same situation here where they're trying to decide between two things. They're kind of equal, and it's a toss-up, as we say. Got it? And now for number 282. At the drop of a hat. And the example is, my friend Chris has a bad temper, and he will fight with anyone for almost any reason at the drop of a hat. Can you guess the meaning? And the answer here is C, something done immediately without delay. And that's what it means if something is done at the drop of a hat. It's done very quickly. No delay, okay? Like your hat falling off really fast. And in our example, this person had such a bad temper that he would fight with someone if something happened to him, okay? At the drop of a hat, very quickly, immediately. All right, that's what it means. Here's another example. We have to be very careful when dealing with many of these huge companies because they will sue us at the drop of a hat if something goes wrong. All right, in this case, they're talking about how these big companies will sue them very quickly, immediately, right, if something goes wrong. So the same type of a meaning as the first example where something will happen immediately. In this case, the companies will sue them. Got it? All right, and now for number 283, a tall order. And the example is, our boss wants this project done by the end of the week. It's a tall order for us because most of the people in my department are on vacation. Can you guess the meaning? The answer here is A, a task that is very difficult to complete. And that's exactly what they're talking about in our example. The person's boss wanted them to finish a project that they were doing, seems like very quickly at the end of the week, and it was a tall order for them, right? It was a difficult task because most of the employees were on vacation. Got it? That's what a tall order is. A very difficult task to complete. Here's another example. Buying a home in this economy was a tall order for us because I was laid off last month by my company. But with help from my parents, we were still able to do it. In this particular example, they're talking about how hard it was for these people to buy a home, okay? But they had help from their parents, so they were able to complete this difficult task. Okay, got it? That's what it means. All right, now for number 284. To cough up something. And the example is, I want to go skiing on my holiday, but it will be expensive, and I don't think I'll be able to cough up the money to do it. Can you guess the meaning? Did you guess A, to pay or spend money for something? If you did, you're correct. And that's what to cough up something means in this particular context, okay? To cough up things, there's many ways to use this, all right? But in this particular one, they're talking about paying money, coughing up money to pay for something. And that's what the person in the example is talking about. They're not going to have enough money, they don't think, to pay for their expensive skiing vacation, right? They didn't have enough money, or they don't think they'll have enough money to spend on their vacation. That's what it means here. Here's another example. Sean wants to attend Yale this spring, but I don't think his parents will be able to cough up enough money for him to go there. All right, we have another situation where, in this case, the person's parents probably won't have enough money to cough up, okay, to pay for the tuition. All right, so again, this idiom, to cough up something, in this case, we're talking about coughing up money. Got it? All right, and now for number 285, to be a far cry from something. And the example is, George is a great software engineer, but he is a far cry from Ellen, who is one of the best engineers in our company. Can you guess the meaning? Did you guess A, very different from someone or something? If you did, you are correct. And that's what it means to be a far cry from something. All right, in our example, they're talking about George and Ellen here, right? George was a good or a great software engineer, but Ellen was much better. So George was a far cry from Ellen. He was very different from her. Okay, that's what it means. Here's another example. The small house we live in now is a far cry from the huge one where we used to live when I was a child. Now in this case, they're comparing the small house to the huge house, right? It's a far cry. It's very different. Okay? So if something is a far cry from something else, in the comparison, usually if it's a far cry, it's very different from the other thing they're comparing it to. Got it? That's all for this video. Thanks again for subscribing, and please like and share the video to support the channel. And remember what I always say, keep practicing! See you next time!